Corded Books presents Girls with Bright Futures by Tracy Dobmeier and Wendy Katzman, narrated by Mia Barron. Home of Maren and Winnie Presley, Friday, October 29th, 11:30 p.m. If the drool at the corner of her mouth was any indication, Maren's attempt to stay awake until Winnie got home from her babysitting gig was, as her daughter would say, an epic fail. Maren took in the laptop still perched on her chest, which had similarly slipped into sleep mode. With a quick tap, the web search she'd started before falling asleep flooded her retinas. Out of sullen curiosity, she had Googled the unusual name of the professor she'd met earlier in the evening when she'd dropped by her boss's house unannounced to deliver their tuned-up espresso machine. As the longtime personal assistant to Alicia Stone, one of the most powerful women in tech, Maren met celebrities and power players all the time. This Boston professor didn't seem to be anyone special, likely just another pawn in Alicia's elaborate scheme to secure admission to Stanford for her daughter, Brooke. But with the early admission deadline now just 3 days away, he served as yet another reminder that Stanford was off limits for Winnie, just in case Maren had missed all the previous warnings. Stretching her neck, which was stiff from dozing off at a weird angle on the couch, Maren slammed her laptop shut and jammed her hand between the couch cushions in search of her phone. The last thing she remembered was Winnie's text saying she was heading home. But when she fished out the phone and unlocked the screen, Maren saw it was already 11:30 p.m. Winnie's text had been over an hour ago. Had she come in already and gone to bed without saying goodnight? Maren was just about to check Winnie's bedroom when the doorbell rang, followed by insistent knocking. And suddenly Maren realized it was the sound of the doorbell that had jarred her awake in the first place. With a smile playing at the corners of her mouth, Maren pictured Winnie on the doorstep, keyless once again. For such a smart kid, her daughter was ridiculously forgetful. As Maren strode the few steps to the door of their tiny bungalow, she called out, Okay, coming." She turned the doorknob and prepared to greet Winnie with a classic motherly look that said, "I'm happy you're home safe, but what the heck?" But her wry grin faded the instant she threw open the door. It wasn't her daughter, not even close. At the sight of the uniformed police officer standing under the dim, dead bug-filled porch light, Maren instinctively closed the bulky cardigan she was wearing over her threadbare pajamas. "Hi, officer, can I help you?" Despite having been raised to believe the police were the world's best helpers, Maren's only real interaction with the police years ago had left her with an altogether different impression. "Good evening, ma'am. I'm Officer Wilson. Are you Mrs. Presley?" How did he know her name? Maren's nervous system switched into high alert. "Yes? Is Rowan Presley your daughter?" No one ever called Winnie by her full name. "Yes," she said with a growing sense of dread. "Ma'am, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your daughter was in a serious accident." "No," Maren said, shaking her head. "Are you sure you have the right person?" She wanted to slam the door shut and disappear back into her nap or her confusion or even her bitterness toward Alicia. Anywhere but here. "Ma'am, is this your daughter's cell phone?" Officer Wilson held out an iPhone with a familiar pink case. It looked silly in his large palm, and Maren almost said so, like if she could muster a wisecrack that would somehow prove the phone wasn't Winnie's. As if in slow motion, Maren saw her hand reaching for the phone. The glass was badly cracked. She turned it over, hoping against hope not to find the most obvious identifier. The unique pop socket, designed to look like a salmon sushi roll that Winnie had splurged on with some of her babysitting money. Fear surged through Maren. "Oh my..."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.